What's up, VC? It's Steve again, Harmless Rebel, and it's time for a two-part contest video. The first part's going to be for Stomp 33 1/3. The second half is going to be for Audiophile777. I hope you guys are both cool with me mixing these together. I just thought it was easier to do 2 in 1 as opposed to doing individual videos for either of you. So I'm not trying to hurt any feelings with that. It's just easier to edit the two together. So let's just kind of jump in. We're going to go ahead and start with Chris, Stomp 33 1/3. I'm going to go ahead and put a link to both channels, but we'll start with Chris's down below. If you haven't checked out Chris's channel or subscribed to him yet, do that now. Very much a metalhead. We're into a lot of the same stuff. He's a little bit more connected to thrash. And when I say connected, I mean literally. He was a drum tech for Charlie Benante. I believe he still runs his website. He's a drummer himself, and because of that Charlie Benante connection, he wanted us to do a video where he showed our Anthrax collection, our Anthrax vinyl collection. Unfortunately, mine is rather small. I love Anthrax. They're a definite favorite of mine. The reason I don't have many of their albums on vinyl is I just haven't run across them. I have all of the Anthrax albums on CD. I've actually got my original copies of Among the Living and Persistence of Time that I've had since the early 90s, and I still listen to them regularly. Anthrax, if you're not if you haven't really checked into them, when I think of real traditional thrash, Anthrax is who I think of. A lot of people think of Metallica first, which makes a lot of sense. A lot of people think Slayer, and I get that. Anthrax had more the hardcore punk edge to them that I think really is what traditional thrash is about. You can hear it in the background with Cotton and Mosh. Not only is this one of my favorite Anthrax songs, this was actually the warm-up song that my band did. The second band I was in, Siege, we would warm up every one of our practices, and when we were doing our warm-up for our shows, we would always do this song. So it doesn't get much better than Anthrax. So let's just kind of jump in. This first one is a 3/10-inch comp that came out a few years ago. This includes Fistful of Metal, the band's debut, Armed and Dangerous, their second album, and then also the Anthrax 7-inch single from 1983. And that's all in 3/10 inches. I would prefer to have original copies of these, and I will eventually seek those out. While this is a cool little package, and I dig what they did here, the sound quality is not the best. So it's got this cool little laser cut Fistful of Metal cover. On the inside, you've got this cool collage of the band. And then each of the CDs or albums are a variation. I don't know if you can see it here. There's red, and I think it's like a silver. Let me get to the third disc because I think it's more. Yeah, and they're each colored slightly differently. You can kind of see it there. It goes from a red to a clear, I guess. Like I said, these aren't the best sounding. It's just the pressing quality is not great on them. There's a lot of noise. But I highly recommend checking out Fistful of Metal if you haven't. Everybody talks about Metallica's love for new wave of British heavy metal. Fistful of Metal from Anthrax is, I think, the closest thing that anybody in the U.S. came to new wave of British heavy metal. It does not have Charlie Benante. It doesn't have Belladonna on vocals. It's got what's the guy's name? I always forget it. The original vocalist was Neil Turbin. So So that's their first couple albums and their first EP right there. With Armed and Dangerous is where you start to get that Anthrax sound that we would know and love. That was followed up by Spreading the Disease. This one's a Back on Black reissue. It's a pretty decent pressing. It's a good sounding pressing. I need to listen to it again. It's been a while. I remember the bass being really low on this. I could be confusing it with something else though, but it's on this cool yellow, which is very much in vein with the cover. And then this is was followed up by a couple of my favorite albums. You know, you've got Among the Living, State of Euphoria, Persistence of Time, Sounds of White Noise. The next one I have on vinyl is I'm the Man EP. Not a favorite of mine. I've never been a huge fan of the song I'm the Man, but this has a cool cover of Bloody Sabbath, or Sabbath Bloody Sabbath on it. And then you've got Caught in the Mosh and I Am the Law Live. The next one I have on vinyl is We've Come For You All. So a little bit of Bush era Anthrax. This is probably my least favorite of the Anthrax albums. Safe Home was probably the biggest hit on here, and it was probably my favorite song on here, to be perfectly honest. Followed by really a return to form for Anthrax. This is where Anthrax really came back hard and heavy with an amazing album. This would be a top 5 album for me, and this is Worship Music. I love the album art for this too. Next up we have Anthems, which is their cover album. And then if you haven't checked this out, they've got a Rush cover. They cover Anthem, TNT from AC/DC, Smokin' from Boston, Keep On Running from Journey, Crawl is the only new song on here, that if I remember correctly. Yeah, Jailbreak from Thin Lizzy, and then Big Eyes from Cheap Trick. So it was a cool little album. I didn't like it the first time I heard it, but it kind of grew on me with subsequent spins. And then the last thing I have from Anthrax on vinyl that I can think of, I may have another single in there somewhere, but I'm not going to dig through all that stuff. But this is the Anthrax single, A Monster at the End, from the most recent Record Store Day. So from Record Store Day Black Friday 2016. And then it's got A Monster at the End, which is an album track, and then Vice of the People. I haven't even spun that one yet, so... He asked us to show our favorites from what we just showed. My favorites from here, in order, would be Spreading the Disease, followed by Worship Music, and then my third favorite would be Fistful of Metal. I really love Fistful of Metal. There's a lot of people out there that don't like it. I've always thought it was awesome. I love the sound that they had on that album. But you know, I get why people prefer the more thrash sound. Now, those aren't my 3 favorite Anthrax albums. My 3 favorite Anthrax albums are by far Persistence of Time is number 1. That's my all-time favorite from them. That's followed real closely by Among the Living. Those two are right there. I played those things non-stop for years, and I still play them regularly, followed by Spreading the Disease. So those would be my 3 favorite Anthrax. So there you go, Chris. I hope you're cool with that. The next one was Audiophile777. Where did I put my little list? He wanted us to put together a fantasy supergroup, and the rules of it were it had to be, let's see, at least 4 members. I went with 5 members. No members could have been in a band together at the same time, which got real tricky for me. It had to have one female member. He wanted a band name and an album name. And for an extra entry into his contest, he wanted us to do an album cover. So, let's go ahead and start. So, the first member of my band would be the singer. And that would be, and I always mess up her last name, but it would be Angela Gossow from Arch Enemy, formerly of Arch Enemy. They have a new singer now. I've always loved her vocals, and she just has an amazing thrash vocal and a clean vocal as well. For guitar, I went back and forth. This was a rough one for me. There's so many artists I like. I knew who one was going to be right off the top. It would be Alex Skolnick. He's one of my all-time favorite guitarists. The other one is Dave Mustaine. A lot of people may wonder why I put two leads on there, but Dave Mustaine does really well with other virtuoso guitarists, which like Alex Skolnick kind of is. You know, while people think that he's the lead, he's generally not. It's generally, you know, like right now it's Kika is actually the lead. Kiko? I always get that wrong. Marty Friedman was the lead back in the day. So I think that'll be a good mix. Bassist, man, that's a tough one. I initially wanted to say Cliff Burton, but because he was in Metallica with Dave Mustaine, I can't use that one. And then I went back and forth. I thought about Les Claypool. A lot of people don't know that Les Claypool has a history in thrash. But I decided to go with Robert Trujillo. Robert Trujillo, everybody knows him from the current lineup of Metallica. But all you old school metalheads out there know him from Infectious Groove, from the best era, my favorite era, Social Distortion, Suicidal Tendencies. He also played with Ozzy for years and years and years, and was that was an amazing lineup with Ozzy when he was with him. So Robert Trujillo was a great choice for me. And the last one was Dave Lombardo. Now I know Alex Skolnick and Dave Lombardo both played in Testament. However, Dave Lombardo entered the band after Alex Skolnick left, and Alex Skolnick came back before or after Dave Lombardo left. So hopefully that falls within the rules. And then what was the name I came? Sorry, I got to double check. There we go. So the name of the band that I came up with was Death Force. And I did do an album cover. I'm going to try to insert that right here. Hopefully it works. Otherwise, I'm sitting here pointing at absolutely nothing. And I have always liked first albums to be self-titled. So the album title would also be Death Force. I really hope that the picture is floating right there. So that's my entry into Audiophile777 videos. Please subscribe to him as well. The guy's an amazing artist. He's done some really cool album or musician artwork for different people in the VC, and I'm just really blown away by it. And then of course Chris, Stomp 33 1/3. Subscribe to both their channels, and for both of these were 100 subscriber contests. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, so congrats on 100 subscribers for both of you. I think they're both well past that now. I think they're both in the 130s and the 140s now. So congrats, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give me your thoughts and comments down below. Take care, VC.